Welcome to this video, which is part of a series of videos that looks at randonneuring in various countries across the world. The people that I will interview in this series of videos have all participated in the Paris-Brest-Paris in 2023. I will first ask them about what it's like to do randonneuring in their country, and then we will explore their experience of riding the Paris-Brest-Paris in 2023.
My name is Christian, and I live in a small village called Grüten, which will be very hard to find on the map. It's located between Düsseldorf, Solingen, and Wuppertal. Solingen maybe is famous for its knife manufacture tradition. So Solingen knives you will find everywhere across the globe. That's in Germany, yes. That's western part of Germany, so northwest. I'm 58 years old, enjoy randonneuring and cycling.
Germany had the second highest number of participants at the Paris-Brest-Paris.
That's correct. It's quite amazing. And I just realized how many Germans participated because we all gathered in Rambouillet before the day before the start. In the town hall, we had a gathering, and it was just very impressive to see so many German practitioners. There was a speech by one of the guys who kind of brought the tradition of randonneuring to Germany, like maybe 30 years ago or 35 years ago. And he was kind of overwhelmed by the amount of people who came to join the PBP and ride it. I mean, he's probably in his 80s, early 80s now. So I think last time he joined in 2019. Not sure whether he finished it, but now he said he's too old. He couldn't make it any longer. He still rides bicycles, but PBP would be too much for him. But he's really very nice, very simple guy, also very charismatic, cracking jokes. It was good fun listening to him.
What is the randonneuring scene like in Germany?
Overall, it's a niche in Germany. There are local kind of clubs or sub-organizations, and there's a German kind of umbrella organization taking care of all the aspects, who are also in connection with the French ACP. But it's loosely organized. So there's no membership, no fee. It's kind of whether you like it, you join it, and if not, then you don't do it. But they make sure that you get enough brevets, especially the year before the PVP. It's a young sport compared to like tennis, football, golf. It's a young sport, but the people who do it, like myself, are getting older. So what I see, most randonneurs are in their late 40s, 50s. I think that's the average age. There are not many 18 years old, no teenagers, obviously, and not many in their 20s or 20s who are joining. I haven't sensed this, that there's an active attempt undertaken to get young people into the sport. That's also maybe part of the way it's organized. It's very open to anyone who's interested, but there's no real attempt to attract more people into randonneuring. And cycling is not so popular amongst the younger people. There was a time in Germany when Jan Ullrich was very successful that attracted a lot of young people to cycling, but that has changed, maybe also due to all the scandals, doping, and so forth.
Randonneuring is such a time-consuming sport. Is that maybe one of the factors that maybe discourages people from participating because they've got family obligations and work obligations?
I think it's actually a reason which puts off younger people. But as you say, it's time consuming, and I can just afford it because my kids are young adults now. So I have the time. I have a job which is also time consuming, and the rest of my life I spend cycling. So it's a balance that keeps me moving. It's work, cycling, social life as well, but a lot of the social life either happens on the bike or in the office as well. So that's my way of getting along. And
how do you find the time to actually train for this event? Do you train after work? Do you train mainly on weekends? How do you actually find the time to?
It's mainly weekends for the long distance rides. It's also evening rides, even during autumn, winter, and spring when it's getting dark quite soon. I tried to cycle to work, but unfortunately it's a bit too long. So the single distance is like 45 kilometers, and it's too time consuming. I try to combine train and bike. I mean, that works slightly better. But then there's also the logistics of taking all your clothes to change in the office, and that makes it a bit cumbersome. And so I prefer to just get home, then change, get out, and do a 1 or 2 hour ride after work, if the weather permits. If you ask my wife, she says, okay, it's something he has to do, and I can't stop him. And it's a phase which hopefully will be over soon. And I think she thought after PvP, I will stop. That was her hope. Unfortunately, this has not happened. My parents they are in their 80s. I think it's hard for them to understand it and why I spend so much time on my bike. I try to explain it to them that it's just to balance my professional work life, which is also quite stressful at times and time consuming. So I need a balance. So they understand this. And friends, I mean, some they think, okay, he's extreme. He needs extremes, so they let me do it.
Did any of your family members maybe join you at the Paris-Brest-Paris?
Actually, not. We discussed it. I discussed it with my wife, also with one of my daughters. But then I said, I mean, what's the point? Because you drop me off at Rambouillet, then you won't see me for 4 days. And when I come back, I'm exhausted and I'm kind of in a funny mode. And I really organized this for myself. It's also a very egoistic thing to do. I mean, for me, the alternative would have been to do it really in a team or in a group or as a couple on a tandem potentially. But I mean, in my case, it was really my idea. It was my dream, and I did a lot to make it happen. And it's a bit like moving in a tunnel, and there's no space to the right side, left side. It's just myself. It's very egoistic, and I'm highly conscious of this. But hey, I mean, it's my decision. Somehow I'm lucky that my wife and my partner, she accepted this. Also my colleagues at work, but I shared the preparation events with them, and they knew what was happening. And they think he's crazy. He's lunatic.
Have you made lots of friends in the randonneuring space that understand?
It's randonneuring friends. So it's these type of friends you meet occasionally during events, and then it's great. But it's rare that we do chat between events or that we meet each other. So I've people spread around in the area where I live. There's Karl, there's Susanne, there's Joost, Axel, but it's a loose kind of connection. But that's also due to work schedule, busy lives. But it's okay. When we meet, it's very open, very friendly, artful. So I really enjoy this community aspect of randonneuring and cycling.
It can be quite an isolating sport because training for most people would be training on your own for many hours or doing your quiet rides for many hours. Getting to the Paris-Brest-Paris, suddenly you are part of thousands of people who have all got the same kind of goal in mind and, you know, who all have the same excitement. What is it like for you?
I was really nervous the day before, or maybe even 2, 3 days before arriving at Rambouillet. When I was finally there, I thought, oh, yes, now it's starting, now it's happening. And do you have everything? And I was it was hard to just relax, enjoy the atmosphere. I think I was tight. I tried to just do as little as possible. So I met a couple of people whom I knew, and we had some chats. But then I spent most of the time just reading, eating, doing nothing, relaxing, staying in the shade, stay away from the sun, and do as little as possible, and try to focus. I think focusing that was what I needed on the Saturday.
What got you interested in actually riding the Paris-Brest-Paris?
It started with a Sunday ride that was organized by a local bike shop in Düsseldorf. And they do this in winter time when it's really windy, cold, wet. They do it regardless. Every Sunday morning at 10 o'clock, you meet up in Düsseldorf. And it's very friendly community. So I joined this club for a couple of rides. And I got to know a cyclist who participated in the 2019 PBP event. And I spoke to him beforehand and also afterwards. And I was kind of fascinated by the idea of cycling 1,200 kilometers. And I thought to myself, I want to do it. I just want to do it. At the same time, I thought, I'm not able to do it. I just can't. This is virtually impossible. It's way too hard for me. And I looked at this guy, and he's very thin and very fit and fast. And I thought, oh, I'm sluggish. And I was fit. I was kind of fit. So, but I was really thinking it's beyond my capabilities. But then I thought, I mean, if he can do it, why can't I do it? Why on earth? I mean, I have run marathons. I do yoga. And I'm healthy generally, so just give it a go. And so the decision I made in 2019. Okay, next PBP I want to join, 2023. And then I was confused about this qualification and all the stuff, so I did a bit of research there, and thought, okay, the real thing starts in 2022 with the qualifying PBP that I need to get a good chance for the registration. But I started cycling quite intensively back then in 2020. And it was a pandemic, and it was one of the sports that you were allowed to do. And I mean, I started a kind of routine every Saturday with a friend. I did a 200K kilometers every Saturday. We met at 7 a.m. in the morning, regardless, wind, snow, rain, winter, summer, 200K. And that was quite hard. So Sundays were, I really had to recover. I was kind of exhausted. But then I gradually adopted to that, became fitter. I learned about how I react and respond and how to recover quicker. And that really got me into kind of good shape. I did a couple of brevets, but not many, just 200s, 300s. And I did my first 600 in 2022. That was my very first 600K. And it was, I wouldn't say it was easy, but it was okay. It did not really, I did not get to my limits with the 600K. And I thought, okay, if you can do that, PBP is just 2 600s in a kind of sequence. So yeah, just imagine it's one night of sleep and then another 600K. It will be, it's doable.
If somebody's watching this and has any kind of interest in doing PBP, you need to start as early as possible.
Yeah, I think that's really the key success factor. Get routine and build up your mileage early on. Subconscious thing that was happening in my brain. And it was mainly focusing on stay on the bike or collect these miles or kilometers. I mean, there were days that I did not feel well. It was hot or cold or wet, flats, and all these things that do happen. So the experience is very important to get through these small obstacles and problems, and don't give up. I mean, just continue.
It's not just your physical, but it's also your mental, because you've ridden through cold, rain, wind, with mechanical issues. So you develop that determination to actually ride through all obstacles and challenges. That you must start early, have a proper training program, and you must start to develop that resilience to actually get through this difficult challenge.
Actually, 620 kilometers, that was the longest ride I've ever done before PBP. And I thought about doing a 1000K ride, but somehow I thought it's too much time. There was no proper opportunity for me to do it. I also felt it's not really necessary to do it. I mean, would it have helped me? Maybe, but not really necessary in my case. I consciously have chosen the 90-hour start group because I talked to many PBP practitioners beforehand, and there was one guy who recommended not to hurry and not to press for super fast times, just relax and enjoy the event. And that's what, I mean, that kind of resonated with me. And I thought, okay, let's take it easy and shoot for 90 hours. If I'm faster, then hey, fine. But I don't need to break any records on my first PBP. So take it easy. And so the 90 hours, that was my decision. Also, the start time in the evening was really my favorite start time, because riding through one night at the start, I thought that's easy. I've done this many times. I have no problems with that. So for me, that was convenient to start at 8:30 in the evening. I thought about that, my schedule for sleep, and I know how important it is to find sufficient sleep. I thought about it. Should I stop after 300K, sleep, continue for another 300? But then I thought, try to get through to Kai and then sleep there. And that worked perfectly for me. I mean, getting to Kai was not a problem at all. I mean, this was like 500-ish kilometers. And I arrived there in time at, what was it? Maybe 9 p.m. on Monday evening. So arrived there. I had dinner, and then I slept outside. I had a small sleeping bag and a small inflatable mat. So I did not even check the dormitory. I just slept outside at the control building. I slept for maybe 3 hours, very comfortable. That was okay. And when I woke up, I was feeling fit and relaxed, and had breakfast, very early breakfast, and then continued from Kai.
So what time did you wake up on Sunday morning?
I think I woke up at around 9:30. So I slept very well the night from Saturday to Sunday. It was deep, relaxed sleep, and I was very pleased with that. When I woke up, first moment, I did not even know where I am. I mean, I slept in a van. I did rent a small van, like a camping bus. I was not sleep deprived before starting. And I think that's a problem for people who are attendees coming from Asia, North America, South America, who are flying into Paris. And if they just arrived the day before or 2 days before, I think that's an extra kind of handicap for those who are having to travel from abroad.
Once you started the ride, what strategy did you use to pace yourself? Did you say, I've got to be at a specific point at a specific time, or did you just follow an average speed? How did you pace yourself? If you would like to see Christian's answer to this specific question, please join us in the next video in which he will elaborate on this specific question. If you've enjoyed this video, please remember to press that like button. And if you would like to see more of this type of interview, please subscribe to this channel. Until the next time we meet,